And we're back. This is Neal Isaacs, the Raleigh business broker, coming to you with more content for business owners, business buyers, and advisors of transactions in the triangle market and beyond. So it's the mid year, it's 2024 if you're watching this now. And I want to do a quick market update, right? So I have my finger on the pulse of small business transactions. And from time to time, I like to bring the most current market research, what's happening in small business transactions, and bring them to you. Thank you for watching. I'm going to start with how business brokerage markets compare to the residential and commercial real estate markets. I think there's some parallels there. Small business transactions are a unique breed. Business brokers are a unique breed. And the primary difference with business transactions is the private nature of business transactions, right? So I do record deals on some of the data sites, right? So I get sold comp information from sites that aggregate that, and I submit in a confidential format the deals that we do, and I'm contributing our done deals, and then we're getting back data from those markets, right? Now, in real estate markets, all of this is recorded. When you sell a piece of real estate, that's recorded, and that data is a lot more public. I choose to report data through certain platforms, and not all brokers do that, right? And if someone sells a business privately, it's probably not recorded anywhere, right? There's no deed to be filed with the state if it's a private transaction. So my point is the data is more proprietary. It's harder to know exactly what's going on. There's less sources for great market data in business transaction as compared to real estate transactions. But here's what we do know about real estate transactions. I'm recording this in 2024. 2022 in residential, things were crazy bonkers. People were paying $100,000 over ask for homes in my market, the North Carolina, the Research Triangle market. And it was the good times in 2022. And those days are over, right? So that run lasted a good year and a half. And it's definitely slower for most real estate brokers in the real estate transaction, the residential real estate transaction market. Now, commercial real estate, I'm coming back to business brokerage. Commercial real estate, owners of apartment complexes, commercial facilities where businesses are operating, definitely a mixed use there. So certain categories for my friends that are doing a lot of commercial real estate, some categories are really, really good. Medical is really good. Some are suffering, like retail is suffering right now. There is an article in the paper this week about how some landlords are giving away free rent to entice commercial tenants to occupy space. We are 4 years removed from the pandemic. The use of commercial space is still kind of a question mark. Are people working from home? Are people shopping online? All of this affects the utilization of commercial space. So my market update for commercial space, again, I'm primarily a business broker, but I am a licensed commercial real estate broker as well, is that it depends on the sector for commercial transactions. Residential, definitely a decline. Some brokers are doing great. There's fewer residential brokers, and there's a lot of things changing in residential brokerage. Commercial, hit or miss depending on the category, and business brokerage. Let's get to that. As a full-time business intermediary selling businesses, I can tell you that we're still selling around the same amount of businesses. Our transaction count has remained relatively similar. We are still closing deals on a regular basis. I would say there's still a preponderance of business buyers. There's no shortage of business buyers. That's something that came out of the pandemic. It was a seller's market before. It dipped. This is from the IBBA. Seller sentiment dipped during the pandemic. Understandably, when you close your business and you're not making any monies, then you're not optimistic about the marketability of your business. But when the lights came back on, the sellers the buyer came out of the woodwork, and it's been what was already a good seller's market. It's been a pretty good seller's market ever since the recovery started from the pandemic. It's been going on for a long time. So no shortage of quality business buyers. Now, regarding business buyers, there's more first-time buyers. There's more searchers. There's more people that are tire kickers that say they want to buy a business, but they really have no business buying a business. There's always been a preponderance of that. I'd say there's more now of that than ever, but there is a shortage of quality businesses for sale, right? So how do I define a quality business for sale? A quality business for sale, I define that knowing what business buyers are looking for as a business that makes money, that has a team of people. It's beyond just the owner. That's transferable. So maybe they do have a team, but the owner has delegated and taken what's in their head and installed that into managers and people so they can take vacations. And most importantly, that business that makes money, that has a team that's transferable, is priced appropriately, right? So there's a long going statistic that the largest marketplace of small businesses in the world, it's owned by CoStar, that about 20% of those businesses ever sell. So if you look at 100 businesses, 20 of those will sell. The rest won't sell. The listing will expire, the business will close, or something else. It just doesn't transact. So it's my opinion that the reason for that is most of those businesses are overpriced or misrepresented in some way. They don't make the money that is represented, or they're not listed at the most probable sales price. So that last characteristic of a sellable business is priced appropriately. And that's what, as intermediaries, we have the least amount of control with our clients. We can advise them, what the price is, but ultimately it's the business owner's decision of what to sell for. Now we can decide if we want to partner with them, if we understand, if we believe that what success looks like for them on a price perspective is way higher than what the most probable sales price is. So we're advising clients on what we think is the most probable sales price, and then we're talking about what we're comfortable going to market with. Some clients say we'll go to market at the most probable sales price. Most clients say let's add a buffer. Let's leave some room for negotiation. And some clients that are motivated to sell for health or family or other reasons will say, if it's worth $1 million, I would sell it for $800,000 just so that I can move on to my next chapter of my life. This other issue is much more pressing than the money that I'll make. There's fewer of those business owners. There's more of the business owners that want a premium. And so to summarize where I'm going with this, there is a shortage of quality businesses for sale that are transferable, that are priced close to their most probable sales price. And I hear it from the business buyers. When I talk to business buyers, I ask them, how long have you been looking for a business? How many offers have you made? If you did make an offer, a letter of intent or an offer to purchase, what happened with that? Why didn't you consummate that deal? Or did you consummate the deal and this is the next business that you're inquiring about? What did you learn from that experience? These are the conversations that we have with business buyers. And what I'm hearing from business buyers is it's tough out there to buy a business. There's fewer quality businesses for sale. We hear business buyers say, yeah, we got into diligence and it wasn't what was advertised, or they didn't make the money that they said that they did. And then they get out of the contract because of misrepresentations or something like that. Fortunately, we don't have those challenges in the listings that we have. We were not worried about due diligence when we take a business to market because we've already seen everything. We know how the bank is going to underwrite. We know what the business buyer is going to see in diligence, and we're representing it so that there are no surprises. So that's why we don't worry too much about diligence. But I hear this from business buyers that they get into diligence and things fall apart because it's just not as advertised. While I'm on this topic of business buyers and the processes that go through them, is another state of the market feature I would say is that diligence, not so much diligence, but the the minutia of deal making, the hashing out of asset allocation, of working capital, some of the fine tuning of these deals that happens later in the deal making process is a little bit more protracted. So, what do I mean by this? If you're watching this and you're a married person, think about when you consummated the deal with your spouse, right? First, you make a deal with your spouse. Do you want to get married? Yes, great. Congratulations, you're going to get married. You're engaged. Then you put up the tent poles. When are we going to get married? What is the date? And then you put that on the calendar, and then you celebrate a little bit because you're newly engaged. But as that date gets closer, you have to make a lot of decisions. How much are we going to spend on the wedding party? What about the honeymoon? What are we serving, chicken or fish or steak, right? So all of these minutia decisions that are important to having a great wedding and to setting the course of your future with your future spouse, if you follow this analogy, that's kind of similar with deal making, right? So we start with a meeting of the minds, which is basically, I'm going to pay this amount at this time and in this type of sale, stock sale, asset sale, and we agree on maybe 10 terms, but the reality is there's another two dozen smaller terms that need to be hashed out later. If we were to hash out every single term in the original meeting of the minds, we'd probably never get any deals done. So you kind of have to agree, are we close here? Let's proceed forward. Make sure that start to give the buyer more information. Buyers don't know if you're lying when you go to the market. So you got to get into a deal and then start diligence and then work through the remaining things. That part of the deal, that back part of the deal where candidly, I think intermediaries really earn their money from doing that. In my experience, that part is more challenging right now. I think buyers are more shrewd, and business owners need to understand that process. So we're spending a lot more time educating our business owners about these special topics. Closing logistics is what we call them. Working with our attorney partners and staying in our lane with the deal making, but then communicating with our deal partners, the accountants, the attorneys, the bankers, to make sure everybody has the right information and we still have a meeting of the minds. We do weekly meetings with our buyers and our business owners and hopefully their advisors, so that as these tent poles are getting closer and we're filling in, we're picking the chicken or the fish, that everybody knows exactly what's been agreed upon already, so that when we get to the definitive agreements, so we move from the letter of intent or the offer to purchase, we formalize that with these definitive agreements, so there's really no surprises later down the road. We have lots of meetings. So that part of the deal in this state of the market, transaction market address, seems to be a lot more time is being spent there, but that's what we do. That's how we get compensated, is by taking care of all of those details. But if you do look at the MarketPulse survey put out by the IBBA, which in my opinion is the definitive source for transaction data, you will see pretty consistent multiples. Business owners are still getting paid for 2 to 3 years of what their cash flow has been historically for small businesses. And then the larger businesses, the owners that are keeping $1 million or more of EBITDA or SDE, they're getting higher multiples depending on the industry and the type of earnings they're making. 4-5x is not uncommon, and then it gets even better from there for special cases and strategic situations where the buyer's not buying because of the money. But if you take one thing away, if you've been watching this long, you take one thing away, and you're a business owner especially, it is all about the money that you make. We talk with business owners all the time. They put up really big numbers, and there's not a lot left at the end of the day. $5 million comes in, $50,000 is left after all expenses. I can tell you that every business buyer that I know would rather buy a business that does $1 million in revenue and the owner keeps $500,000 than that business that does $5 million in revenue and keeps $50,000. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. So business owners, sharpen your pencils when it comes to your profit margins, and how you report those. Business buyers want clean financial data. If you've been saving money on taxes through working with your CPA or not working with your CPA, and you want to sell your business, it could affect value as well there. So when I gave those multiples, and I mentioned 2 to 3, up to 4 to 5 or more, financial clarity is a big part of that as well. So that's it for Neal's mid-year 2024 State of the Market address. It is a good time to sell a quality business. Work with your intermediary. If it's not me, hire someone locally. If you're not watching this nearby me, work with somebody with credentials like me, a CBI, a CMNAP, mergers and acquisitions specialist. Look for credentials. I like IBBA.org. You can vet somebody on that site to see if they've been at it for a while and to see if they've invested in their credentials. That's a great way to find an intermediary, and then just interview them. See if it makes sense for you. If you're a business buyer out there, don't be afraid of intermediaries like me. As you've heard from this conversation, we are kind of doing something similar to you. We're talking to business owners to see if they really make money, if they're reasonable on business price, if they're ready to sell. That's a big part of these deals. So business buyers work with business intermediaries for those on-market deals. And business advisors, let's partner together to serve our mutual clients. That's it for now. I am Neal Isaacs, the Raleigh Business Broker. I appreciate you watching this. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to learn about. And until next time, Neal Isaacs saying mahalo. Have a good day.